Peace and blessings, y'all. This is your boy Gerald. It is the 8th of September, 2016. How is everybody doing? So, I wanted to put this out for a couple reasons, y'all, because these last couple days, y'all, been kind of challenging, more methodical than others, but still, these last 4 or 5 days have been very testing for our brother's steps. Probably wondering, what are you doing, Gerald? I'm taking my vitamins. Good stuff for the body. You know me. I keep them vitamins inside. Keep myself as organic as I can. Yes, sir. But I'm going to touch on a couple things, and I'm going to try to keep it moving, not try to hold up your time. But let me, first of all, let me get these. Let me get these in me. All right. All right. Got that out of the way. Now, let's get this out of the way. I know some of y'all are like, what the hell is going on with you right now? I'm looking for the guy that has all the scruff on his face, the ball cap, and the focus. Well, you're going to get that focus because, see, your life is blessed. I ain't changing that. If you haven't figured that out yet, see, I'm riding for you. I'm riding with you. But guess what? We all got to do the work, right? Because, see, what's at stake is your story. See, your legacy's already written, y'all. It's written. But guess what? Every step that you take adds the color, adds the dynamic, adds the contrast. See, that is also the undertone of the foundation known as your testimony. Why? Because you're blessed. That's right. But see, I know some of y'all waking up out of bed this morning in an environment that you ain't feeling, and you feel a certain kind of way, and you think that this is going to be the end all be all. And I'm here to tell you, y'all, the devil's a liar. Why won't you understand? Why won't you understand what's going on in your environment? Do you think things are just falling out of the sky, being revealed in a certain kind of way, just by chance? Nothing is by chance. No, sir. No, ma'am. Why? Because you got a story to tell, which is orchestrated by every beat, by every precious breath that comes inside and out of you. Why? Because you matter. But more importantly, you priceless. So, you might be in a situation where you got slapped on the butt. Somebody tripped you up, and you are teetering from allowing your fears and the things that you don't understand to consume how you see the world. Let me tell you something. Before the devil can do his best work, we got to give him permission. We got to give him permission to run shop in our life. You know how that happens? First is when we decide not to love ourselves. Because see, when you choose not to love yourself, guess what happens? You don't tap into your discernment. You know what else happens when you choose not to tap into your discernment? You leave yourself spiritually open. You don't think that Mr. Goodrich just happened to walk in your life just because, did you? Do you really think that? Come on now, we dealing with intelligent people right here. You smart, like what my man Khaled. You smart. You special. Come on, man. Can we stop with the step and fetch it? That's right, I said it. But see, I'm not gonna put shade on him because I also understand what he's trying to do. Because see, we have to reach and teach everybody at the level that they are on. And to have a position that is like this, you basically are doing this to yourself. Because the energy you put out is the energy you're going to get back. So now you might be in a season right now that you ain't popular at all. People don't even like the fact that you're breathing air. They look at you like, you still here? No. To navigate through that, you're going to have to finally give yourself the proper worth, the proper ethic, the proper foundation needed. Okay, let me stop with all these metaphors and call it for what it is. You got to stop lying. Who am I talking to? You got to stop lying to yourself. It doesn't matter what comes out your soup coolers, right? Because guess what? If it doesn't illustrate who you are at your highest level, guess what? You put it out there in the ethers, and it comes back through an experience. Who am I talking to? I know somebody right now. This past weekend, in your mind, you had an image, but in your reality, it was something else. Who am I talking to? You know why that played out? Because you are not looking at the obvious reason. The reason is this person was not supposed to have access in your life. They're not supposed to be there, y'all. They never was. Not right now. Not right now. And that's why I can't I can't stress this, my queens. I can't stress this. Just like you are the wildfire, the wildflower to the world. That is why he made you. That's why God made you unique. Well, you know what God asked you to do? He said, prepare. How can you usher in the other side of your life without the one who holds the keys? So every time that you take it upon yourself and say, well, you know what, Gerald? I hear that, but my other side of my bed gets cold. The other side of my bed, I feel a certain kind of way because I wish there was someone there. Don't you realize there's a blessing in that? Who am I talking to? You're not supposed to have someone in that spot yet. You know why? Because that spot is reserved for your best friend. And guess what? They're going to be a mirror reflection of you. You know why? Because that means that's the definition of being yoked. So every time that you turn around and say, well, I ain't hearing what you got to, I don't care, I'm going to do me. Guess what? You the one getting done. I'm saying this out of love. See, I don't have an agenda. I ain't out to get you. All I'm trying to do is uplift you. Now, at the end of the day, we all got to do our work now, don't we? Now, you could turn around. Okay, let's backpedal this. Let's backpedal this a little bit. If things were good to go already, and your support system was there already, why you went through disappointments? Who am I talking to? They're your friends, right? So if they were really your friends, why are they allowing you to go through what you went through? Who am I talking to? Your friend's supposed to protect you from you, even if it's in pain. Why? Because they love you. That's what a bond is about. That's what a friendship is about. For those that are looking at the esoterics of soulmates and soul ties? How about soul families? You know what? You can't have a family without a commonality or a vision or direction. Why? Because you got to think alike. Doesn't matter if you're connected by blood and bone. What connects you is the mind. How about that spirit? Who am I talking to? But see, Maya Angelou said it best. Rest in peace, Miss Angela. Through her experiences, she chose the canvas to place pen to write down her memoirs and illustrate them through poem and spoken word. The one thing she said that was pivotal, and for the intended heart, intended mind, haven't you noticed how things that you may have seen at some time does not resonate until the intended time? Who am I talking to? You're like, oh, I remember that. But you didn't realize that was a blessing right there that you was given, but you wasn't ready for it. You wasn't ready for it. It wasn't ready for it because you had not bear witness to the lesson that was being presented to with the blessing. Who am I talking to? Meanwhile, as the world continues to spin, it seems like it's easier to dumb down than stand up. It's kind of surprising we ain't heard crap about Black Lives Matter now, have we? Who am I talking to? Don't you realize, y'all, that was all an illusion? You don't realize it now? I told y'all that. It ain't about now. Look, let me backpedal. Let me throw the blessing in place. See, an opportunist don't need your help to expose himself. But what's required is you have the courage to see what is being bear witness. And I knew that. You can't go further. You can't go one step if it ain't blessed, y'all, because those doors, those spiritual doors ain't going to be open. You're going to find nothing but obstacles. Spiritual landmines is what I know them to be. And guess what? Devil's work's never done. Does it surprise you? You do understand demons got to stay employed? You do know that, right? They got to stay employed because guess what? If they don't do their job, they going swimming. They going swimming. They already know that because they signed up with that with their life. They played with their life. They didn't see their worth, and guess what? In the time not known, nor seen, the last breath was taken, and we all stand in front of the book of life. And the worst thing that you could do is be like, here I am. Because you know that everything that you're doing, y'all, it gets played back, right? See, God don't need HD. He got something better. Why? Because guess what? He's the reason why he placed a thought in man. And before there was a thought, it started as a word. Who am I talking to? But you know what? And that's the problem. We live in a world that we want to place mankind in the position of God. Let me tell you something. I'm going to keep echoing it until the intended heart and mind hears it. Anything made with man's hands is made to be temporary. Why? Because man will never master forever. But see, we think that, well, if I do it a different way, if I remove this piece, if I jump over that, it won't happen. Do you realize that there's nothing you can do that God nor the devil does not see? Just for that one aspect, because we only use 6% of our brain. So who are you fooling? Who are you really fooling? Who is the company you're keeping? And I'm saying this out of love, y'all. This ain't shade. Gerald don't do shade. Gerald do truth. You know what I'm saying? And you know that because I'm not the one that's saying, hey. I know you ain't seen me in a while, but could you? Who am I talking to? They disappear like smoke. That's your friendship. And then voila, here I am out of the closet, where I go, and you're like, where am I? Well, where you been? Where were you at when I had my back on the wall? Where were you when I was on the ground? Where were you when I needed you? You do understand a person cannot stand by you if they don't see their worth. You do know that, right? Because if they don't see their worth, they're not going to see their value in their time. That's why I always echo all these people doing this. You see these outbursts on TV. You see all this stuff going on in the media. Now, I want y'all to take this in consideration. If it was a positive act, why is it not promoted? But why is it that if there's anything that puts us in negative light, I don't care what your melanin looks like. I'm talking to you, my family, because we're all about the human race. Don't get it twisted. And depending on how deep you want to go, you'll also understand when it's all said, there are only 5 shades of brown. The blacker the berry, the sweeter the juice. But unless you know your future, you have to learn your past. How about your family history? Do you know your family history? Do you know it? If your elders were to take the last breath, would you be able to carry the lineage on? Most people can't. Most people too worried about what Uncle Ray Ray got instead of who Uncle Ray Ray was or is. That's why we live in a society where fear is more appreciated than love. Why? Because the devil runs this. He wants you to think that way. And that goes back to what I was saying earlier. See, before a devil can really do his best work, you're going to have to willfully give your life to him. You have to give it to him. And he knows that. And that's why the experiences that you see and the illustrations that come from it attack your mind. Who am I talking to? You sitting over and think you crazy because you having them dreams. Who am I talking to? You have no dreams. You seeing people. You hearing conversations that once were had. Oh, you gotta love those ones that you having dreams about people that you don't have any connection with directly, but you will slowly but surely realize you're connected to them. You know why? It's spiritual, y'all. It's spirit. Who am I talking to? And I think now, this is for somebody. That's you. You should not be feeling like you're a prisoner in your own head. How about in a reality that ain't yours? It's time for you to go within. How about now have the courage to sidestep that anger you've been holding? Because you come to realize that all that's done is burn a lot of time, put you in positions and placement with people that you know did not deserve to hear you breathe. But guess what? You know why you're seeing that? Because no matter how many tears that you try to hide, ain't nothing worse. How do you call yourself strong when you taking it upon yourself to show your emotions of vulnerability behind a steering wheel in a parking lot that nobody knows? You surely can't speak your truth. Why is that? You having conversations and arguments with the intended parties, but they not there. So let's flip it. Why are you holding on to pain? Why are you holding on to regret? when you know pain and regret is nothing but words and conversations not yet spoken. Same thing as a secret, y'all. Secrets ain't nothing but truth not revealed yet. But what you realize is they all become toxic. That's not your story. It's not your story. But see, we live in a society where we want to turn around and hold unconditional loyalty to our pain. Why? Why? That is your greatest commodity you gonna ever have is your time. You do understand that, right? So why are you willfully giving it away? Why are you doing things that will never lift that chin up? How about break that smile out? But yet you over there, you with people that are robbing you from your joy, y'all. So you don't get a badge of honor. Stand in denial. That's not you, y'all. That's not you. But see, society has conditioned a lot of us to stay asleep, to convince us, well, this is all I'm going to do, Gerald. Uh-huh. Yeah, I got these dreams and aspirations that I want to do. But if I decide to stand up and take that first step, the people that are close to me, they're going to look at me a certain way. But guess what? If they're looking at you a certain way and it's not empowerment, why are you there? They got a gun to your head? I really hope you're not doing time because of the materialism around you. Come on now. Why? But you know what's sad about that? The person that will stand with you. Yeah, the real you. The you that no one sees. Yeah, you know, that person you see in the mirror. Because see, that's the person that you owe this experience to. You do understand that that reflection really is your spirit looking back. You do understand that, right? Come on now. Surely you don't think that everything you've gone through is just part of the experience? No. I'm gonna tell you what you need to do. See, you can't call yourself strong, and I'm darn sure not gonna call you weak, but I know that you are afraid. But we're gonna get you up out of there because see, you already had the keys inside you. The question is, are you strong enough to turn the lock? Because if you really want to let go of that burden, somebody looking at their bills right now, like, well, Gerald, that sounds all good, but you know, I'm trying to. I ain't got gas in my car. What are you saying? Listen, God said, you have not because you have yet to ask. So guess what? Right there, you ain't spoken into existence. But guess what? If you speak with ego, if you speak with pride, God will never give you what you need. The devil will always give you what you want. That's why we walk by faith, not by sight. Why? Because God, He balances everything out through your heart. What's in your heart is your reality, not capital one, what's in your wallet. Nobody cares about what's in your wallet. You think they care? And those people who are like, well, you know, he do got his paper up right. Haven't you noticed they all have a same type of disposition? They all shallow. And you're also witnessing people that are broken too, but they're too afraid to admit it to themselves. So guess what? You perpetuate the cycle that you're going through. That's not your story. But then I know this too. Some of y'all deep down inside, you long to be loved. You long for it so bad that you despise when you see it being illustrated by someone. Who am I talking to? You actually have this disposition. Ain't nothing. Look, let me throw this out here. I gotta throw this out here. Queens, you are the wildflower. I've echoed that. So why are you trying to take on the persona of a man? Why are you doing that? You think that people are going to take you serious because you raised the octave of your voice? Don't you realize? Think back when you were a child and your parents yelled at you. What did you do? You said, mute. It's no different in your adulthood. They look at you like you crazy. Like, oh, there we go. And they automatically discredit anything that's coming out of your mouth, even if it's correct. You're not supposed to be going through that. Don't you realize you can command anything you require in silence? But if you're not at peace with yourself first, no one's going to take you serious. I know that needs to go out to someone. Just like I know at the end of the day, I know somebody's saying, well, Gerald, let's go back to what you just said. You was talking about, I want the one, because see, all those other examples I done had, all those one night stands I done had, all those experiences that I done had, they all equaled in two things. I had less money before it occurred, and I had more pain that came with it. Why do you think Erykah Badu wrote the song Bag Lady? Because that bag has got your woes in it. It's got your burdens in it. But you know what holds it on your back? Your fear. I know somebody's saying, you ain't talking to me. I ain't afraid of nothing. Yes, you are. Yes, you are. And as long as you won't admit it to yourself, the longer you're going to stay in. That's like doing prison. You in a prison system inside your head. It also tells you, here's another example of why you should be true to yourself. Let's talk current events. Some of y'all gonna hear it today. See, my man Ryan Luke, he never thought in a million years that telling a lie would escalate as it did. Now look at it. And I'm not showing shade. I'm stating a fact. Whenever you choose to speak something into existence that does not represent you in the authentic, in your most true self, guess what? You just opened up a door for the things that won't. So let's look at this in a literal sense. Because he did not take a position of humility. He thought, well, you know what? Yeah, I got my gold medals, and pretty much I'm untouchable. Plus, I don't live here. I'm going to just jump on the first thing, and it don't matter. I got my gold medals. That's what I came here for. Yeah, he got them. He did his thing in the pool, but it was his mouth. It's his mouth that cost him far dearer. So now they've already announced, oh yeah, like Ice Cube, oh yeah, it ain't over. Because you decided to, number one, you disrespected yourself. You disrespected your teammates. You disrespected us as a nation. Well, guess what? We ain't putting no paper in your pocket for now. But here's the thing. Here's the thing, though, y'all. See, right now, it ain't hit him yet. Because guess what? Them endorsements, they're going to fall. He can get them back eventually, but they're going to fall off of him. Because companies, at the end of the day, when you are wearing that label, that shackle, called sponsorship on you, if you don't walk, talk, act the way they want you to, they don't give you no paper. So now his actions have not only penalized him, but has also placed a stigma on his teammates. Thank goodness. You know, the one person is probably like, man, I'm glad I'm up not in that. Michael Phelps. I believe God had something for him, like, I got you. He wasn't in the mix. Now, that's no here nor there, but just think about it. Anytime that you decide to speak something into existence that is not your best representation, this is going to come with a price. The blessing was the Olympics for him. The lesson is going to be the experience after, because this is going to last far longer than he could ever imagine. Because they've already said you ain't going to compete in the next championship. Oh yeah, your friends, yeah, your teammates, they ain't even. So guess what? That's money coming out of their pockets. But here's the thing, though. He is going to have to go through a season. And see, here's the thing is mankind, we don't understand the interpretation of season. We think it's quarterly. Nah. If God wants to, he can go right out, look out your window. It might be raining right now. Put snow on the ground. I mean, y'all know what I'm talking about. Look at what's going on nationally. You got areas that got tornadoes that shouldn't have. You got areas that got flooding. Oh, let's not sleep on that Zika too. Because all this did, and I was peeping this too, with all this torrential rain, tropical storms, you think those mosquitoes didn't get blowed up? How about those people that would say, well, you know what? They said, well, I'm going to be smarter than the average bear, Gerald. I'm going to sell my stuff, and we're going to go on ahead and pack up and move somewhere else. Okay. You think no mosquitoes got in that cargo? Oh, yeah. How you think that stuff is going to spread? Come on now. I ain't trying to throw conspiracy, but guess what? They've already had a reported case already in Maryland, whereas a guy got diagnosed for Zika. That's Maryland, y'all. And there's probably a whole lot of other ones that just ain't reported yet. But let's don't trip. Let's don't trip, y'all. Let's don't trip. Because a lot of people ain't sleeping. A lot of people not putting two and two together. What's the point of the mosquito biting you? Survival. But guess what happens? That bite has your blood, your DNA. But you don't know where that mosquito came from. Nobody's thinking about that. Y'all saw that Kickstart commercial. I know y'all seen it. The one where the guy starts off drinking, the mosquito bites him and gets the Kickstart in it, and the secession of the food chain. Let's throw that in reverse. You don't know where that bug came from. We know what it can do. Now that should be looked at as biohazard, because there's going to be a whole lot of people that are going to be exposed to that. But on a financial tip, we can say this too. The people who own off and stuff like that, they're going to make a whole lot of money because people are going to buy it because of fear of being bitten. Who am I talking to? With all this weather going on? Oh, yeah. We ain't heard the end of it. Who's this for? This is for somebody right now, because you look at the world like this. You look at life as, if I don't have it in my hand, it don't matter. But why are you doing time inside your emotions? You think you got it so together because of what your ride looked like? You do understand you start losing money the moment it hit the ground, right? Why? Because man does not make forever. God does. And everybody has to ride The spiritual seesaw. One moment you're up, one minute you're down. But can you find the balance that's inside you? Can you? Will you? Because if you don't, guess what's going to happen? You're going to end up just like your friends. Haven't you noticed, y'all? The people that always got the most drama going on in their life, they're the most opinionated. But here's the beautiful thing about that. They still got an opportunity to change it. But for some reason, they don't. They don't. It's easy to turn around and deflect. Well, I'm this way because of that. The beautiful thing is, the moment that you can identify it is the moment that you can make change. But no change happens overnight. It's progressive. That's why you may see this. You might have some people that are looking at you kind of side eyes because they don't know who you are. You know why? Because they already had a perception of you from days gone back, and they don't understand that you're not fitting in that scope, so they can't figure you out. Don't listen. You don't want somebody in your life that can't figure you out. You want somebody that's willing to walk with you. And if they're not willing to walk with you, they'll never be vulnerable to you. Why? Because they didn't want you to figure them out. Who am I talking to? By the way, shout out to those who are Virgos, to my earth signs out there. You guys are all about the mind. Y'all about analytical. But guess what? Maybe you need to get out of your own way, because when you decide to acknowledge that God is real, your life will change. Who am I talking to? Because that's how they do. I've noticed that you'll come to understand that you're going to have people in your lives that will be your mirror as well as your display. And what I mean by that is you're going to have those that you're connected to because you think a certain way together. You share a certain ideology. And then you have some that just, you think, I got this feeling, someone said, well, that's my twin, girl. Well, look at your twin. Is your twin representing you? Huh? Are they representing themselves? When's the last time y'all had a conversation and had God in it? Why is it we don't talk about that? I think if people would turn around and allow themselves to be vulnerable, we can get a lot of stuff accomplished. We could actually establish the dialogue to make change. But guess what? As long as we don't, we're going to stay in the reality that we in. And you know what that means? You already got people that have already invested in banking that you're going to stay, this is who you are. And they're making money off of it. You do understand that, right? Come on now. You didn't know that? That people love the fact that you will not do what you need to do? They love that. And let's talk about these corporate companies out here that you do business every day. You know, your monthly payments, they love it when you don't make them. You know why? Because you just turned around, made them more money. I know somebody's saying, oh yeah, well that's just the late fee. No. Every corporate company that you do financial business with, guess what? They got insurance. So every time that you welch, guess what? The insurance company gonna pay them for what you didn't do. On top of that late fee. So you didn't made money for them because you choose not to do what's required. So that might be the reason why you're feeling a certain kind of way, because you know economically you're supposed to be over there. But the reality is you right here. But here's a kicker. You blaming that person for where you are. No. Mm-mm. Now, I got to throw this in here because it's fresh on. What's up with, I think now it's been almost a month and a half, almost 2 months. What's up with everybody using Facebook Live like it's a confessional? Y'all done already saw the story that broke today. Then you saw the one yesterday of the guy that unfortunately he took his son's life as well as his wife's life. Well, his wife survived, praise God, but unfortunately he took his son's life, and he got on there like she had it coming. Nobody takes in context of, what if that was you? I'll do one better. If you were so miserable, if you were so upset, why didn't you just leave? But see, here's the thing I realized, because everybody's story is differently displayed, but it's all the same. The problem with us as a society starts as individuals, and it's because you will not speak from your heart. Most people won't. And those are the same ones saying, I don't feel nothing, dog. I ain't got no love. There's your byproduct right there. I guarantee you, if that brother was honest with himself and said, well, I got this as my concern. Let's work this together. And turned every stone, it would have never got to where he is. You do understand, y'all. This brother has already said, well, I'm not going to prison. You just turned around and just opened up carte blanche for that police officer that's got that hair trigger. How about that new officer that's never been on a job, and he's going to be put in a position where he's looking at it as, it's going to be me or you. I'm going home. You might as well just said, hey, I'm going to end my life too. And let's call a spade a spade. The worst abomination you could ever do is take your own life. Because you basically saying that God made a mistake creating you. But here's the thing about that, y'all. Because I think right now, September is National Suicide Month or something like that. I think. I'm not sure. But the common denominator, even in that, is truth. What was going on in your life so bad that you said life wasn't worth living? Don't you realize where you are right now is not the end all be all? But it'll be that way until you decide to have that conversation with God. But I also know this. You have certain addictions out there that will always get glamorized. Narcotic, alcohol, and sexual addiction. You'll hear people talk about this all the time. But what you never hear people talk about? How about the people that are addicted to pain? Oh, I know I got somebody's attention now. How about those who are addicted to drama? I know y'all know somebody that way. When things are right, you don't see them. But soon as you extend your knee, they're quick to do this. They're quick to interject. They're quick to put their 10 cents in your life. Why is that? I'm going to tell you why. Because those people know one thing, which is certain. Misery loves company. And they want you to sit down at that table. They want you to give it, they want to convince you through choices. Because guess what? The two gifts God ever gave you, number one was to unconditionally love yourself. And when I say unconditionally love yourself, that does not mean, oh, I'm feeling myself, or you're conceited, or you're walking in shallowness, or you're walking in pride. There's nothing wrong with being proud, because being proud is founded through love. And guess what? Love don't hurt. And guess what? Love is also one of the greatest examples of God. Why? Because you hear me now. I'm talking to you. You're the example. Don't believe me? Look at yourself in the mirror. So when I see what I'm talking about? Misery love company, don't it? Listen to that. Bringing back sweet memories. That's what you see life as. You shouldn't be going through life like, damn, I gotta get up. I gotta go to this job I hate. What's keeping you from going to that job and clocking in? If you hate that job so bad, why don't you love yourself a little more? And say, well, you know what? Yes, this might have been a blessing in the beginning, but I've outgrown this position. And guess what? God's going to give you options, but you can't see them until you have that conversation with him. And when you have that conversation with him, guess what? You are validating you. So let's talk about them friends. Your little stick man, your little BFF. If they loved you so much, why won't you turn around and listen to what they're saying? But then again, if they was really your friends, they should have came out the cuff already and said, well, look here. Well, if you ain't feeling this, here's some options. Maybe they would have. See, let me tell you something. See, a real friend, they want you to win. You do understand that, right? They don't want to see you do time. They don't want to watch you kill yourself slow. Nah. You walking around with gray hair that you don't even deserve having. Who am I talking to? You in your 30s and you starting to look like you in your 50s. Number one, that's a byproduct of somebody's spirit influencing yours. Come on, man. Come on now. That was a liar. Listen here. What God's got for you is so blessed. But you can't have it until you're ready. You know why? Because it's going to exceed anything you can fathom. Why you think people come back in your life, y'all? Huh? Who am I talking to? Got to dealing with the exes. You're like, where have you been? And you're going through memory lane right now. You're thinking about the good things, trying to sidestep the bad things. Let me tell you something. Sometimes God will get out of your way for two reasons. Number one, you don't put him in front of what you need. See, he can't protect you even from yourself until you have a connection with yourself. That's why you may be going through this season where you're putting a lot of mileage on your car, but ain't going nowhere. Who am I talking to? You're experiencing things behind closed doors, but can't celebrate them out in public. Who am I talking to? A friend wouldn't do that to you. But one thing a friend will not do, they won't turn their back on you. They won't. They'll love you from afar. They'll pray for you and hope that you make it through. And if it's willed by God, guess what's going to happen, y'all? There will be a period of validation. And it's been echoed. It's been echoed through your heart. You already know But guess what? That devil, oh yeah, that devil, he already knows that too, because see, when you took your first breath, he already saw your life. He already did. That's why he's got to, think of it like a football game. Your supporting cast is your family and your friends. You are the quarterback. The objective is happiness. That's that touchdown. So guess what? You're driving to the end result, which is your blessing. Well, the opposing team are all those people that want you to be distracted from yourself. The coaches on the sidelines are the people that will never see your worth. And the referees are those who just ain't got nothing to do but to hold you back from you. So you got to make a decision. Do you want to score in life? Do you want to have the things you dream about manifest? Because that's what manifestation is, y'all. It all starts with a thought. And that thought becomes a word. And that word becomes a pattern. And that pattern manifests into a behavior. And that behavior becomes an action. And it should be your blessing. Why? Because there's only one you. I'm not trying to complicate this, y'all. But it ain't nothing worse to see a woman walk down the street and lost her smile. But see, I can speak on it because you're talking to a brother that lost his for almost 15 years. Didn't know it. And the reason for it is because, see, I had to own my stuff, y'all. You looking at somebody that was a little boy that just wanted to be loved, be validated, that wanted to make sure that his presence in this world mattered, not out of conceit, but out of balance. And I had to navigate my life thus far. And did I see a whole lot of pain? Oh, yes, I did. Did I see a whole lot of death? Yes, I did. Did I see a lot of despair? Yes, I did. But you know one thing I didn't do? I didn't let the devil take my heart. Because, see, I knew the end result would be. It would be my mortality. And I didn't want to end up being somebody with a stencil on his chest, only doing time behind a facility that didn't give a damn about me. They just worried about my brawn, not my brain. Who am I talking to? But see, as we advance as a society, the more splintered we become, the more introverted we are. I remember there was a time when kids would go outside to play. That was your first example of dealing with social dynamic. It also validated what would make up your belief systems or your perceptions through interactions of others. That's why you got schools, y'all. Yes, it's to educate you to a certain degree, but the lessons of life are by you. Nobody can stop you from educating yourself. That's why there's so much education out there that, put it this way, if your education was not important, why is it that you don't hear anybody closing up libraries? Why does it seem that every demographic of people that makes up our society sees the value of a book? And which is really sad because, there used to be a long-standing joke a long time ago when it came to minorities. And I remember hearing this, and it made me feel a certain kind of way. And they said, well, you know what? You ever want to hide something of value in front of a minority? Put it in the book, because they won't open it because they don't see their value. They won't invest in it. And guess what? Pretty much true. Instead of us worrying about $160 earbuds, what about that priceless heart of yours? And which is crazy too, because you know what? Because people are so broken and don't see their self-worth, they're gonna spend $160 on some Bluetooth earbuds because of a phone. Let me tell you what's going to happen. Those people who like their money the way they are, they're going to go online, Amazon, and they're going to find one that's compatible, and they're going to save their money too. Meanwhile, little JoJo or little Ray Ray, he going to go out there and buy those wireless Bluetooth, and he going to lose them in a week. Doesn't matter. Apple didn't already made their money. Do you? But just know this. A person that has wealth doesn't wear their wealth. They invest it. Who am I talking to? So let's go back. When you decide to look at things objectively and say, look, I use this because this is a need, this is a want, your money will change. You'll also be able to expand from that and see the people and the relationships that you have. This is a want, this is a need. But guess what? If God is not in it, that's your lesson, not your blessing. See, I can't, if I could, I would pray your pain away. But I also know something too. Some of y'all already know this. And no matter what falls from my mouth, and I know I've validated a lot of things going on right now, guess what's going to happen? You ain't going to change. Not now. Because you have a love affair for your pain. You do understand pain has a price. You do understand that, right? And that also reflects your financial gain too. Because guess what? When you're at peace, everything is level. And that's what you deserve, y'all. But there's a price to have peace of mind. Number one, the people that don't want to see you grow, they're going to throw the kitchen sink at you. I know there's somebody right now, you finally have, you feel this longing in your spirit, and you're like, you know what, I need some more of that. That's your greatest high you're going to ever find is peace of mind. And what's going to happen is you're going to have to make a decision. Can I stand up? Can I take that first step now? Meanwhile, all those people that like seeing you broken, that like to see you broke, like to see you confused, guess what? You notice that they doing better? First of all, stop worrying about what they doing. Because haven't you noticed those people that even have made choices in their lives in the intended time and moment? If it's not blessed, you're going to lose it. That's a trade-off. Meanwhile, damage has already been done. Sitting in the cut is the devil. The devil's like, see? Well, you said you wanted that. I gave you what you want. But, I didn't tell you it's going to come with some hardship. And some of y'all going through that right now. You think that the life that you envision is the reality, but it hurts. It hurts you so bad, but you can't speak on it because you're too busy saving face around your friends. Now, they're your friends, right? They're your friends, right? So if they're your friends, why can't you be vulnerable with them? I know why. Because if you decide to do that, they're going to use that against you too. How about your little girlfriends? She knows all your secrets. Yes, she do. Your little stick man. You mad at him because you didn't find out he in the ear with her. Don't you realize? God is like, I got something better for you. Son, I got something better for you. Let him go. I need you to follow me. But guess what? It's not God's responsibility to come get you. He created you. So while you worried about why he ain't where he need to be at, just know this. He is where he needs to be at. He's right there, Johnny on the spot. So if you're sitting over there scratching your head and you're like, I ain't heard from him. What's going on? Just remember, that's nothing but an illustration of respect. See, if they gave a damn about you, first of all, they're not going to worry you. They're going to be like, hey, this is going on, blah, 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 blah. I'm on my way. Oh, what's up? That's what your friend's supposed to do. But them opportunists, they ain't telling you nothing. They don't care. And guess what? You know why they don't care? Because they know you ain't going to do nothing. You're going to be right there. So does it show you, queens, why you see so many, not all, but some, you're comfort eating? Who am I talking to? And you're like, wow, I done put on some weight. You know why you put that weight on? Because you're internalizing your emotions instead of addressing them. But guess what? This goes for you too, my king. Stop worrying about that. Stop worrying about that. I want you to stop. I want you to love yourself. I want you to ask God to remove but reveal your obstructions. If you can do that, God gonna show you exactly what's delaying you. He gonna do that. He gonna do that for you. Of course he gonna do that. Why? He got something better for you. Why you walking around with a bunch of with your you got keys, right? And your keys got keys with that go to no locks. You know why? Because you ain't supposed to be there. Why is that? Why is that? Because they know you're gonna deal. You're gonna deal, and they know that. They know that. They know that. So you gotta make a decision. You do understand, we teach people how we wish to be treated. Here's the commonality. You gotta talk. You gotta communicate. You gotta be able to express yourself. So, what you gonna do? You gonna take another day and throw it out the window? Or you gonna love yourself? Because guess what? God got something better for you. The key is, are you deserving of it? Or what? Just something to think about. God's praying for you. You know I am. I see your worth. And for that, it helps me discern mine. Have a blessed day. Bye. Hello.